Okay, we're recording Biblical Word Study, where we study one word at a time, one verse at a time, one chapter at a time until we get it, and we know we're never going to get it until we take that last breath. Actually, after that last breath, then we'll have it all. And we thank God for everything. And today we're doing a little bit of watchers, watchmen, beyond, hearken, all those that good stuff, the synonymous words with that. And we're going to start with this one here, I believe. And this is the word natsar, means to keep, preserve, watchman, a keeper, to guard, to watch, to keep over. And you can do, there's a whole bunch of words we can think of in our heads right now, especially in the New Testament with the phylake, the prison guard and the watching and all that stuff. But we're talking about watching, being on watch and being on guard and waiting for God, waiting for Jesus to come back. So this it just means like the etymology of the root is illustrated in the Akkadian Nasara, Nasaru, the watch over, to protect. It means to keep in view or to look at, to keep it uppermost in your head, you know. In Isaiah 49:6, it's and he said, "It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up tribes of Judah and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light unto the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation to the end of the earth." And this word here, I believe, is preserved. Yeah, uh, preserved, kept, preserved. And it appears approximately 60 times. We got 62 times here. Examination of the objects protected assists in assigning to it a proper semantical range. First, material things such as agriculture or military installations. For example, the vineyard in Job 27 and 18, he buildeth his house as a moth and as a booth that the keeper maketh. The keeper, the natsah. And also the fig tree, Proverbs 27 and 18. Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof. So he that waiteth on his master shall be honored. And we're waiting also. Waiteth is a good word too. We're going to be looking at this, to shamar, to keep or to observe. And it also has watchman in there. I mean, I just went crazy looking up watch, watcher, watchman, and there were so many words. This is one of them here, and we'll look at that other one too when we get to it. Fortifications, Nahum 2:2, are guarded, for the Lord hath turned away the excellency of Jacob as the excellency of Israel, for the emptiers have emptied them out and marred the vine branches. I'm looking for the word in there. Maybe that's the wrong one. I read this, but I didn't look at the words. Nahum 2:2. Nahum 2:1. Sorry. Okay, here we go. He that dasheth in pieces is come up before my face. Keep the munition, watch the way, make thy loins strong, fortify thy power mightily. So he's keeping us watch. And there's another word here. That's probably that 8104. Watch. Oh, it's another good word, 6822. We're going to be looking at this also. All right, 6822. We'll get down to it. It says dash in pieces. That's a rough one. There's a lot of verses where he dashes in pieces. It's scattered, to scatter abroad. Puts. I always think that's the word we get. Yeah, you're a putz. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, so and those who are employed in these functions are called watchmen. And you got Jeremiah 31:6. Let me get this out of here. Uh, for there shall be a day that the watchman upon the mount of Ephraim shall cry, Arise. That's another good verb there. Arise ye, and let us go up to Zion unto the Lord our God. And that's the watch. This 69, 65 is a kum. It's a big verb, arise, and it goes with this word also, this watchman. And you'll see a lot of the verbs that go with these watchwords are rise, stand up, uh, be ready, and the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God, and they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And this tower, there's another word here, the Migdal, but the watchtower, that's a different word. That's I forget the number now, but I got it written down here somewhere. We might run into it. The watchtower. And in 21 and in 2 Kings 18 and 8, he smote the Philistines even unto Gaza and the borders thereof, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. So both of them are in there. And the Lord himself is regarded as a keeper or a watchman over his vineyard, Israel, and over all men in general. Isaiah 27 and 3, I, the Lord, do keep it. I will water it every moment, lest any hurt it. I will keep it day and night. And like I said, we're plucking these out of context, and you can see what he's talking about here. He says, in the day that the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. In that day sing ye unto her a vineyard of red wine. I, the Lord, to keep it. I will water it every moment, lest any hurt it. I will keep it night and day. I got these things running through my head now about the Maseroth, about the crooked serpent up there, and the aquarium, the Aquarius with the water jug and pouring it out. And we can't get into that right now, but that one just popped into my head. And Job 7:20, I have sinned. What shall I do unto thee, O thou preserver of men? Why hast thou set me as a mark against thee, so that I am a burden to myself, a preserver of men? Natsah. Secondly, in an ethical sense, the mouth. Watch your mouth, one's path in life. This one here, 141:3, I was looking at, set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. So we got to keep this uppermost in our head. We got to watch out for these things. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. Keepeth here, not saw. And then we set a watch. Here's the 8108. That's the Shomra. Set a watch, a guard. And there's a lot of stuff here. As you can see, guard, watch. They got the night watch, guard post. And this is a good TWOT 2414 to study. And I looked over this a little bit, and there's some good stuff in here about to take care of, to guard, and to regard, to give heed to, preserving, storing up, and guard post, division of service. We might run into this later on if we get to it tonight. There's some good stuff in there. And that's the 8108, 8104, and there's a few other words, as you can see, that are associated with that. But that's just that one verse here. And I think I did a cross-reference on this because I liked it. In the 39 and 1, Psalms 39 and 1, to the chief musician, even unto Jeduthun, Psalm of David, I said, I will take heed, and is that 8104, I will take heed, shamar, keep, observe, to guard, to my ways, that I sin not with my tongue. I will keep, here it is again, my mouth with a bridle while the wicked is before me. And what are you thinking of there? You're thinking of that verse in James, right? And it's probably down here. Here it is. Uh, if any man among you seem to be religious and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. And James 3:2, for in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. And that's like keeping kalinagogeo, to bridle, to lead by a bridle. That's a good word. Kalin comes from kalinos, which is a bit or a bridle. It comes from kaleo, which means to let down or to strike, to loosen, to slack. And that comes from chasma, which is a gulf, a gape, or a yawn. So you close your mouth. Bridleth the whole body. And this is all the same thing here, right? Yeah. All right. And he that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. So keep it closed. All right. One's path in life, your heart, the tongue are guarded. You got to guard your tongue, guard the heart, depart from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. The heart. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 16:17, the highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. Let's see what these two words are. Keepeth his way is the word we're looking at here now, the natsah, and preserveth, there they go. You'll see them together a lot of times. Shama, keep, observe. There's over 400 verses with that in it. So we can't do a whole study on that, but that's a good word. Shama, keep, observe. Thirdly, there is the concept of guarding with fidelity. It usually centers around observing the covenant of the Lord. The Lord himself is the one keeping loyal love, has said, to thousands of generations, 34:7, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, not the punishment, the iniquity, and upon the children's children unto the third and fourth generation. So like we said, they say, well, his father sinned, so his son's being punished. No, he's visiting the iniquity of the father onto the son, and the son is doing the same thing that the father was doing. Like Jim always says, if you smoke, don't be surprised if your kids drink. Let's see. But mortal men are also responsible for observing the covenant. And Deuteronomy 33:9, who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. And this is, I think this is Moses. Let me put it in context here. I have seen, acknowledged, if you have observed, that's the Shema, and kept, see, they're together, Natsah and Shema, and kept thy covenant. And Levi, he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with the Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massa, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah, who said unto his father and his mother. So that's Levi talking. And then Psalms 25:10, all the paths of the Lord are mercy and truth, such as keep his covenant and his testimonies. We got to keep, and that's guarding. We got that tereo, which means to keep the covenant. to keep the commandments, and it just means to guard against loss. We may not be able to do it, but we're going to be able to say, I'll protect that, and the precepts of the law. And look at all of these verses here. Psalm 78:7, keep his commandments, observe his statutes, keep his laws, keep his testimonies. I have kept thy testimonies, teach me, and I shall keep it to the end. Give me understanding. I shall keep thy law and observe it. That's probably the 8104. Let me look at that. Hold on. Keep thy law and observe it. 34. Keep is the word we're looking at in 8104. So you're going to see these two together a lot. This I had because I kept thy precepts. I will keep thy precepts with my whole heart. I mean, Psalms 119, that's all about the law, that whole thing. This I had because I kept thy precepts. The proud hath forged a lie against me. I will keep thy precepts. Keep the precepts, 119, 100, 119, 115. Keep the commandments. That's all. 119 is all about. Pay is the testimonies are wonderful. Therefore doth my soul keep them. Thy testimonies are wonderful. See the P there? P is pay, and you usually in the first verse of this one, after the letter of the alphabet, you'll find one of the letters, one of the words that begins with P. And Kaf, I cried with my whole heart, hear me, O Lord, I will keep thy statutes. Cried is what? Kara. So like the first word of the verse is the Kaf. You'll see that. I found one or two where it's not, but it might be in the second or third verse. But usually these alphabet letters here, you'll find it in the first verse, the letter that's being referred to. So even the commands of prayers and the discipline of wisdom require the same kind of faithful observance. So it's just keeping the precepts, keeping the law. God is spoken of as guarding from danger or preserving a man's life. All these verses here. I'll keep my soul, deliver me. Let me not be ashamed, for I put my trust in thee. Innumerable evils have encompassed me about. Mine iniquities have taken hold of me, so that I am not able to look up. They are more than the hairs of my head. Therefore, my heart feeleth me. Let me see. Taken hold of me. I'm not able to look up. I don't know. It's not in there. 40:12. It's probably 53:41. 41, right? And this would be Psalms 40. Psalms 40. It says 12 here, right? So if you got the book, you just cross that out and put 40:11. Withhold not thou thy tender mercies from me, O Lord. Let thy loving kindness and thy truth continually preserve me. So that 40:12 is not the right verse. I don't have time to change it right now. If thou sayest, behold, we knew it not, doth not he that pondereth the heart consider it? And he that keepeth thy soul, doth not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works? Not by works, not by works. Here's the 53:41. And this is a 85:05. I got this down here too. 25:11. That's looks familiar. I thought I had it here. Oh, that's in the way, in the balance. That was in the other study. Equal weight. Okay, yeah, equal way. Does not he pondereth the heart? So he's weighing the heart, in the balance. So this would be the other study, equal way and balance. That's good. See how everything runs into everything else. You can't study one thing without running into everything else. It's just the Bible is one long word, and we're just looking to define it. Preserve man's life, preserve the king's life in Psalm 61:8, preserving peace, Isaiah 26:3, preserving Israel, Deuteronomy 32:10, Isaiah 42:6, and 49:8. I will preserve thee, kept him as the apple of his eye. I will keep thee for a light unto the Gentiles, and he'll preserve the faithful and their lives, Psalms 31:24 and Proverbs 2:8. All right, and knowledge, Proverbs 22:12. The eyes of the Lord preserve knowledge, and he overthroweth the words of the transgressor. The Lord also protect the righteous from this generation, from trouble, the secret plots of the wicked and violent men. So this is what God's doing for us. He's preserving us. He's natsah. He's keeping us. Wisdom keeps those who do not forsake her. Proverbs 4:6. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. So that's wisdom. Seek wisdom. So discretion watches over her children in Proverbs 2:11. Discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee, and righteousness watches over her in Proverbs 13:6. Righteousness keep him that is upright in the way, but wickedness overthroweth the sinner. So in three instances, Nasar is used of guarding in the sense of keeping secret. In Isaiah 48:6, it refers to hidden things previously not revealed by God. In two other passages, the meaning is negative. The secret places of sin, where rebellious Israel spends her nights incubating, sleeping with idols in order to receive dreams about the future, and the secret or the crafty mindedness of a seductress. So in Isaiah 48:6, thou hast heard, see all this, and will not ye declare it? I have shown thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them. So he'll reveal things to us. Here's the heard. This is Shama, to hear, to hearken. And this, I have showed thee, the same thing, new things from this time, and hidden things. So they call it hidden things, not sa, and thou dost not know them. We got to go with the original language. Isaiah 65:4. Which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments and eat swine's flesh and broth and abominable things in their vessels. We'll probably have to look around to find out what that's talking about. 53:41, that doesn't sound like the right verse. Isaiah 65. Isaiah 65. It is right. What is it? Oh, monuments. Look at that. Monuments. Which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments. Where would they get that from? Monuments. Whew. I don't know. Whew. Which eat swine's flesh and broth, abominable things in their vessels. Go figure. And the secret or the crafty mindedness of the seductress. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot and subtle of heart. Subtle. She go from monument to subtle of heart. I don't get it. Why would they put that in there for Natsah? A keeper of the heart, a preserver of the heart, and subtle of heart. Well, how they got subtle in there, I don't know. All right, you go figure. Another meaning is of keeping closed or blockaded cities under attack. In Jeremiah 4:16, the kal, plural active participle, seems to refer to the blockaders themselves. And you can look this And make ye mention to the nations, behold, publish against Jerusalem, the watchers come from a far country and give out their voice against the city. The watchers, and it's Cal. We know what Cal is. That's one of how the tense and the mood. This is the most 66.7% of the verbs are parsed with this Cal form. It's the simple or causal action of the root in the active voice, and it's an active participle. And we have to study all of this stuff. Participle represents an action or condition in its unbroken continuity and responds to the English verb to be. All right. So that's all that means when you see the word cal or participle, active participle. We can't do a study on language today, but that's some of the stuff that we run into. When you see cal plural active, now you know what that is, basically. And Ezekiel 6:12, he that is afar off shall die of the pestilence, and he that is near shall fall by the sword, and he that remaineth and is besieged shall die by the famine. Thus will I accomplish my fury upon them. Wonder where the word is in here. Pestilence near shall fall by the sword, and remaineth and besieged, and is besieged. Natsah. Why did they put besieged in there? I don't know. Shall die of famine. In Isaiah 1:8, and the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in the garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. Natsah, as a kept city. It points to being besieged or a blockaded city. Taken altogether, it is no wonder that Isaiah calls the revived tribes of Israel in that eschatological era the preserved of Israel in 49:6, which we read already. For they surely have experienced the constant protection and preservation of the Lord. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee, Isaiah, a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth, the preserved of Israel, the kept, the guarded over, the watched. It's good. We're on page 2 here, see what we got. Another Hebrew word, 5894, it's Aramaic. All right. So this is all the stuff in Daniel, which is an Aramaic word, and we'll see the word that it refers to here is this one. So you got 5894, which is ire or ear. It's Aramaic, and it means watcher, a waking, watchful, or an angel. You know, they call the angels watchers, and it corresponding to the Greek, the Hebrew 5782, which is ur, which means to stir or to lift up, to awake, to arise, and that's usually the verb with this word watcher or watchman or keeper or guarder. It's somebody that's looking, it's stirred up, it's awake, and that's what this ur is here. So we'll look at these verses real quick. Just read them in Daniel 4:13, 17, and 23. And I saw in the visions in my head and upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and a holy one came down from heaven. That's one person. That's not two different people there. Most people read that and they think it's a watcher and a holy one, two different people coming down. It's a watcher, the holy one, came down from heaven. And then let me put this in context here, because this is where people get confused about what these watchers and angels are. And there are angels, you know, in heaven, and Satan was an angel, and he got cast out, and he took a third of them with him. But they were thrown into Tartarus. They were thrown into hell, and they're roped off, they're chained off in there until the end. And I saw in the visions of upon my bed, and behold, a watcher, Holy One came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said thus, hew down the tree and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves and scatter his fruit, and let the beasts get away from under it and the fowls from his branches. This is talking about Nebuchadnezzar. And nevertheless, leave the stump in the roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. And this is when he lifted himself up and he said, look what I did. And God said, no, 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 you didn't. So and let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. We don't know what 7 times in, but it was long enough to where his hair grew and his fingernails grew. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and he setteth up over it the basest of men. And that's the popular verse for me. I always put that down when they say, who you voting for, Kamala or Trump? These are all the basest of men, and she's in that category too. But God's in charge, and he'll set up whoever he wants. So he put Trump there for the next 4 years, at least, unless something happened to him. You never know. But that's not up to us. This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now thou, O Belteshazzar, and that's the name for Daniel. When he was, that's the Chaldean name that they gave to Daniel. And his brothers, his friends had 3 names: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And I'm trying to think of their names right now. I always try to remember them. Hananiah. No, it doesn't matter. Declare the interpretation thereof, for as much as all the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation, but thou art able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. So he knew. He might be elect. We don't know. Then Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spake and said, Belteshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belteshazzar answered and said, my Lord, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. The tree that thou sawest, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof. This is all idiomatic language. And in it was much meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heaven had their habitation. It is thou, O king. So he's talking about him being a tree, and all of the leaves and the meat and all the good stuff that was coming from it. Thou art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reaches unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. Whereas the king saw a watcher, and this is the 5894, this is the ear, and a holy one coming down from heaven and saying, hew the tree down and destroy it. So because of his pride, he was lifted up in his pride. He was taken from the kingdom. He's the picture of the tree. Yet leave the stump of the roots in the earth. This way it can grow again, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field till 7 times pass over him. Whatever that 7 times is, we know that's a number. It doesn't necessarily mean 7 months, 7 years, 7 days. It's a perfection of time. Let the perfection of time pass over him, whatever time that is. So, and these watchers, Enoch talks about them a lot. I can't get into that right now. But as you can see, Daniel here, he's talking about them also. And who knows if Daniel got it from Enoch. But this word here is in the Hebrew is ur, to raise, to lift up. to rouse oneself, and to arouse, to awake. Inanimate objects can be addressed and be told to awake. The idol, the sword, the spear, the wind, fire, storm, scourge, dawn, the harp and the lyre. Qualities can be awakened and incited: love, strife, wrath, might, and a cry of anguish can all be awakened. Sheol is pictured figuratively as arousing the shades when the fallen king of Babylon joins them. Isaiah 14:9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all kings and nations. 57:82. Coming, it stirreth up, or the dead for thee, makes them awake. This word is also predicted of man. He can be awakened from sleep, Zechariah 4:1, but he cannot be aroused from the sleep of death. Now, Job 14:12, so man lieth down and riseth not, till the heavens be no more. They shall not awake, nor be raised out of their sleep, till the heavens be no more. So there will be a resurrection. So I don't know if he was wrong here, but we know that there is a resurrection. He riseth 60. This is another big word here, another verb, kum. It's a synonymous with this this or word here. And as you can see, there's over 600 times it's in the Bible to rise. This word kum, it's a very big word, verb. So man lieth down and be no more, shall not awake. And that's kutz, awake, rise, watch. 69:74. I got that in my list. Okay, we'll look at that a little later if we get down to it, because it goes with some of these words in the New Testament. Gregoruo and egiero, which means to rise, and this is kutz. So we'll look at that a little later. These two, TWOT 904 and TWOT 2019, they go together. 69:72 and 33:64 as yakats, awake, to awaken, to become active. These are great words, man. So we're going to have to look at these later if we have time. TWOT 904 and TWOT 2019. I'm glad I ran into those now. To be raised out of this sleep, and sleep, we gotta I mean, there's so many things to look at. The sleep, the drunkenness, to be sober. So we're gonna get there hopefully sometime today or next week. And man can arouse himself to praise. 57:8. Awake up, my glory, awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. Wake up, 57:82. Awake, psaltery. I will awake early. 3 times in there. Man can arouse and incite himself to action. Job 17:8. Can't go through all of these, but military endeavors described by this word. Babylon is seen by Jeremiah as stirring, preparing to move against Judah. Jeremiah 6:22 and Jeremiah 50:41. The old Jeremiah is preaching about the fall of Judah by Babylon. So in Jeremiah 50, you'll see that the fall of Babylon also. The king of the north stirs up his power and courage against the king of the south. In Daniel 11, we can get through all of this stuff between the testaments. But Deborah is urged to awake and sing a song in the struggle against Sisera. Judges 5:12. Awake, awake, Deborah. Awake, awake. Utter a song. Arise, Barak, and lead thy captivity captive, thou son of Abinoam. Awake, awake, awake. Arise. There's that kum. Arise and lead captivity captive. So all of these synonymous words to wake up, arise. And with the negative, this word is used to show spiritual inertia. Isaiah has the exiles confessing that they had failed to pray, that they had not awakened themselves, remaining in spiritual lethargy. Lethargy, I don't know. Hence, God has hidden his face. Man needs to arouse himself in areas of prayer and praise. And there is none that calleth upon my name, that stirreth up himself to take hold of thee. For thou hast hid thy face from us, and hast consumed us because of our iniquities. In Psalms 57, awake up, my glory, awake psaltery, awake harp. I myself will awake early. It stirreth up, 57:82. And take hold, Kazak, strong and pay a hold, strength and take hold, the strength to prevail on. All right, that'll be for another day. By far, the most significant use of the word is in the causative with God as its subject. Here, one sees the active involvement of God in history. He is not aloof or passive. He is not simply a spectator. He is in complete charge, manipulating his plan. There you go. That's beautiful. I love that. That's predestination. That's the sovereignty of God. All his actions are purposeful. Events do not happen by chance. There is no chance. There is no choose who you would be today. There's no choice there. It's either do that or die. This emphasis is clearly discernible in the Old Testament passages which use this verb in the causative with God as the subject. Tilgath-Pilneser, king of Assyria, was stirred up by the Lord against the tribes of the Transjordan area. Right? And the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria, and the spirit of Tilgath-Pilneser. That's crazy. King of Assyria, and he carried them away, even the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half the tribe of Manasseh, and brought them unto Halal, Habah, Harah, and the river goes on unto this day. So he stirred them up. He stirs everybody up. He aroused the Babylonians against Jerusalem. Then he stirred up the Medes against Babylon. And then he also stirred up the Medes to allow Israel to come back and build a temple and the city. So, and it was the Lord who incited Cyrus to allow the Jewish exiles to return to Judah. I just said that. All right. Who in turn urged the exiles to return. Joel 3:7, behold, I will raise them out of the place whither you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. When apathy had overtaken the returned exiles, the Lord agitated Zerubbabel and Joshua through the prophets Haggai and Zechariah to carry the construction of the second temple to its completion. And you get into the 70 weeks of Daniel here, but we're not going to get into that. And the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people. And they came and did the work of the house of the Lord. And they finished it in 516 BC, exactly 70 years after they were taken captive in 586 BC. So this is the 6th century BC. Stirred up. Here it is. Or, I just wanted to make sure it was in there. There is also a personal appeal to God to arouse himself, particularly in the Psalms. At times, God appears to man to be inactive, apathetic, at least slow. Hence, he urges him to action in Psalm 7:6. Arise, O Lord, in thine anger, lift up thyself because of the rage of mine enemies, and awake for me to the judgment that thou hast commanded. So arise is the word kum. Lift up is another good word. Lift up. Nasa, to bear, to lift up. These are good verbs here, a lot of verses. Thyself because of the rage of thine enemy, and awake. Or to rouse oneself, for me, judgment. So we get into all these synonymous words here. And the psalmist wants God to arise to justice. And God appears to be sleeping and is urged to awake and bring deliverance in Psalms 44:23 and Psalms 59:4. He is requested to stir up his might in Psalms 80:2 and to use his arm or his power on behalf of the nation in Psalms 51:9. Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Lord. Awake, as in the ancient days and the generations of old. Art thou not it that hath cut Rahab and wounded the dragon? That's, what's his name? Another name for Egypt, Rahab. So, good. That's the word there. And there's over 60 some odd verses. We covered a lot of them, but we're going to get into some other things here. I don't know if I'm still in the Old Testament. Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff in the Old Testament. I'm just going to look at these words real quick. Not going to look at all of the dictionaries with them, but as you can see, we got this word watchman. You know, if you just put up the word watch, watchman, watcher, and watchmen, you're going to come up with a lot of these words. 6822 is the word safa. It means a watchman, to watch, to behold, to look out, to spy, to keep watch. All right, and it's 37 times. All right. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto Israel, unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word of my mouth and warn them from me. And you better warn them if he gives you a word to warn them, because he goes on to say that if I set you as a watchman and they need to be warned and you don't warn them and they die, their blood will be on your head. But if I set you as a watchman and tell you to warn them and you do warn them and they don't listen, then their blood will be on their own head. And that's in Ezekiel 33. Also Ezekiel, I think, 18, you'll see the same thing. Hosea 9:8. The watchman of Ephraim was with my God, but the prophet is a snare of a fowler in all his ways, and hatred in the house of his God. Micah 7:4. The best of them is as a briar, the most upright is sharper than a thorn hedge. The day of thy watchman and thy visitation cometh. Now shall be their perplexity. Therefore I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Nahum 2:1 talked about dashing in pieces here. Watch the way. All right, Habakkuk 2:1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So I will stand upon my watch. That's the, these are all together. 49:31, that's the next word we're going to look at. I will stand upon my watch, TWOT 24:14, set me upon the tower, and that's 1898, okay. Besiege, lay stress, and we'll watch. Safa, that's 1950. Like I said, we can't read the whole thing here, but there's just a couple of verses there for this one. And Mizpah, the name Mizpah. And Mizpah, for he said, the Lord watch between me and thee when we are absent one from another. And let me see if that number is here. Mizpah. Let me see. No, it's not. Okay. This is 24:14. What are you doing to me here? Come on. Okay. Obligation, serve, and mishmeret. Shamar is used 420 times. The basic idea of the root is to exercise great care over. It's kind of like watching, to do carefully or diligently, give heed to understanding, be careful to do, perform carefully all the statutes and ordinances. And Numbers 30-12, to speak carefully or faithfully. Secondarily, it expresses a careful attention to be paid to the obligations of a covenant, to laws, statutes, etc. So we got to watch, we got to observe, we got to keep the charge. Abraham is commanded his children to keep the way of the Lord. Right? So you get the idea here. The third ramification is take care of or to guard. This involves keeping or tending to things such as a garden, a flock, a house, or it may involve guarding against intruders, such as the cherubim guarding the way of the tree of life, or gatekeepers, or a watchman. The same is true with regards to persons. Thus Cain asks, am I my brother's keeper? David frequently speaks of God's care and protection in such passages as Psalms 34:20 and the rest of these. And Job 2:6, God uses shamar in his injunction to Satan not to touch Job's life. Again, David touchingly admonishes Joab before he enters battle against Absalom to watch over Absalom for me. Job 2:6. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life. So Satan is God's little demon. He does whatever God wants him to do. No more, no less. Frequently, the verb is used to speak of personal discipline, the need to take heed in respects to one's life and actions. I will heed my ways, and guarding of the lips. We read that. Fourth category, meaning regard or give heed to. It is used of man's attitude of paying attention to or reverence for God or others. Thus in Hosea 4:10, he says, for they shall eat and not have enough. They shall commit whoredom and shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed to the Lord. So we got to take heed. It's all about obedience. Those who revere vain idols. There's so much here. I mean, I'm just zipping through this, but as you can see, I'm putting it up here. So if you get the recording, you can look at all of this. But if you got the TWOT, all you got to do is look it up. The last category has to do with preserving or storing up, such as the anger against Israel, which Edom cherishes and preserves. You'll get this. Don't worry about it. Amos 1:11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. So you don't want to keep that. Or knowledge for the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts. So also with food, in Genesis 41:35 and 1 Samuel 9:24, or anything that is precious. Mishmah. Here we go. Guard post, division of service. The noun is used of a confinement in which someone is kept, a guard post, or of a division of service, generally the temple service. And mishmeret is an obligation or a service. The noun is used in 2 principal senses. The first is an obligation or a service to be performed. The second has to do with something that is to be kept or preserved, such as the Paschal Lamb, Exodus 12:6, the manna in Exodus 16:32, or the ashes of the red heifer in Numbers 19:9. And if you go to Theological Dictionary 9, I think I have it here. Yeah, I have 4 and I have 2. I don't have 9, but that would be something I think we're going to get into. 9:237. Yeah, that's the word philake. That's the prison word. TDNT 9. 237 to 239. I wish I knew what THAT is. It's probably another one, TDNT. But a lot of books we can get here. So that's that one there. And that's Mishmareth, to charge, to watch, to keep. And then 4929 is Mishmar, and that's to watch, to guard. And we just read a lot of this stuff here. And that's the masculine noun. And this here would be the verb. Yes, Shema is the verb, over 400 verses, to keep, to guard, to observe. And we just read a lot of that. And this, set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Help me to keep my mouth shut. Basically what he's saying. Watch. And there's also another part of watching is keeping your eyes up, looking out. Yeah, I looked at this already. Psalms 141 and 3. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. And we did the cross references, and that was good. All right. And then this is the one that's in the Theological Dictionary. But I want to do this one here, I think is, well, this is Old Testament. So we're not going to get to the New Testament probably today. But this is the one of shakad, to watch, to wait, to remain, and to hasten, to watch. All right, TWOT 2451. And it also has the almonds in here. And I thought that was interesting. That's the shaked, the almonds or the almond tree. And we'll read a little something about that and the 8245. Let me do this here. It's cupped, shaped like almonds. And that would be the noun here. And this is the blossoms. Shakad occasionally overlaps and is used with shamar, to guard or to watch over. In the latter, shamar, the emphasis is on careful attention and preserving, while in shakad, alertness is basic. So you got to watch, and then you also got to be alert. So this is the alertness here. All right, and the other one is careful attention or preserving. So you watch, you have alertness, and you're going to guard it. That's basically what these two words are. Shakad is alertness, and shamar is to guard and to watch over. The idea of watchfulness, which is basic to the root, affords the key to the explanation of the Hebrew name for the almond tree. This tree, which in Israel blooms as early as January and February, is affectionately looked upon as the harbinger of spring, is appropriately enough called shaked, or the waker. Is this it here? Shaked, yeah. And where's the one here with yielded almonds? Yeah, this is the numbers 17 and 8, Aaron's rod that budded. And it came to pass that on the morrow Moses went into the tabernacle of witness. This is when they were murmuring against him in the wilderness. And he said, all right, all you guys, give me a rod. Give me 12 rods. We're going to put them in there. And whoever rod buds, that's going to be the leader, okay? And he went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded, and it brought forth buds, and blossomed blooms, and yielded almonds. So this is the first, the one that comes up first, shaked, the almond tree. I just wanted to point that out. And Jeremiah, he's got some stuff about the almond tree, grasshopper. I'm not getting into that right now, but shaked, the waker. The name for the almond forms the basis for God's vivid object lesson on the occasion of Jeremiah's call. The almond rod, shaked, is a reminder to Jeremiah that God will be watchful and punctual, shoked, in carrying out what he has promised. The point of this is reinforced later in Jeremiah 31:28 when God refers to this passage, which forms the basis of Jeremiah's ministry. Jeremiah 31:28, and it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith the Lord. So first he beats you, takes you down, and then he builds you back up again. So that's the shakad. And you're going to watch over in both. He's going to beat you and watch you, and he's going to lift you up and watch you. And then Jeremiah 1:12, when Jeremiah sees thus saith the Lord unto me, thou hast seen well, for I will hasten my word to perform it. Behold, I will watch over them for evil and not for good, and all the men of Judah that are in the land of Egypt shall be consumed by the sword and by the famine until there be an end of them. He's going to watch over the evil and he's going to watch over the good, which forms the basis of Jeremiah's enemy. And Daniel 9:14, therefore hath the Lord watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. For the Lord our God is righteous in all his works, which he doeth, for we obeyed not his voice. So he must have read Jeremiah, right? Watched. Of course he did, because he understood the 70 weeks. Symbolism had an expressive Daniel. Okay. The quality of alertness necessary to a watchman is stressed in Psalms 127:1. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain. So unless the Lord keep the city, and there's the 8104, hopefully we'll get into a little bit of this. Shema, the watchman waketh, shakad, in vain. And then this alertness takes on a sinister quality in Jeremiah 5:6, where the calamity to befall Jerusalem is likened to a leopard watching his prey and awaiting the opportune moment to leap. Jeremiah 5:6. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evenings shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Everyone that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many, and their backslidings are increased. They weren't watching. They were watching, but they weren't doing anything right. That's a good quick study on that word there. Watchman. A lot of good verses here. All right. And then I'm zipping through these here. And here's the New Testament. Let me see. These two go with the New Testament word. So there, and then they get sober. Okay, we're gonna get drunk, wine, and this is the one that's in there. So I'm gonna go with this here. Watch ye, and this is agrupneo, and it goes with 52, 1 and 52, 58. All right, let me give you the word. Agrupneo. It's the negative particle, and hupnos, which means to sleep. So no sleep. And it's perhaps akin to 52:59, which we know is hupo, or under. Hupostasis, under. Hupo, of, by, or under. Hupnos means to sleep. So it's no sleep. Don't sleep. And it's TDNT 2:338. Let me see if I got it here. Well, I started with 333. Let me see, 338. There's just so much here. Let me start with this here. Mark 13. What's this? 1454. Is that here? It's 1453. So all of these are basically together. So I gave you that sleep. And this 1127, this is Gregoruo, right? And it's in the same vein here. It's in the same aspect of this Gregoruo, and it comes from egiro, which means to rise. As you can see, the verb like the kum and the other ones in the Old Testament, this is rise. This is egiro, to rise, and it comes from agora, which means the market or the marketplace. And if you have agoraphobia, you have a fear of the marketplace, a fear of going outside. Gregoruo, to watch, to wake, to be vigilant. In 1453 and 1454, let me see, 1454, that's resurrection. And in Matthew 27:53, and they came out of the graves after his resurrection and went into the holy city and appeared unto many. I think this is the only place where the word resurrection is not, what's the word, apo, something or other. Egirsis, resurrection, arousing, comes from egiro, to rise. Good. Well, we're going to do a little reading here, and that's the simulator. XL, what's 1825? Hold on. 1825. Raise thee up. For this purpose have I raised thee up. He's talking about Pharaoh. For this purpose have I raised thee up. Ex egiro. All right. So it's to raise up, to rouse from sleep. And we know why he raised Pharaoh up, so he could destroy him and get glory. That I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. That's the only reason Pharaoh had for living. And then God hath both raised up the Lord and will also raise us up by his own power. 1 Corinthians 6:14. All right, put X in front of it, and gives it a little oomph. So this one here, and then I'm going to go with this 1127. If we look at this, this is, all right, Gregoruo, and this is Abgrupneo. All right, so Gregoruo we're going to look at here. A later Hellenistic reconstruction. Outside the Bible, you find it means to watch. So in the Septuagint, it's only in Nehemiah 7:3. Let's put this word here, 1127. 1127. I want to see something here. All right. 1127. No, it's not there. What's Nehemiah 7:3? Let me look this up quick. Nehemiah 7:3. 7:3. And I said unto them, let not the gates of Jerusalem be opened until the sun be hot, and while they stand by, let them shut the doors and bar them, and appoint watches of the inhabitants of Jerusalem, every one in his watch, and every one to be over against his house. So it's got to be this watch word here. While I stand by, let them shut the doors and bar them, and appoint watches. Mishmareth, yes, there's that 24:14. Mishmareth, and then 49:31, and then 49:29. Mishmar. We read some of these words, but this Septuagint, I'm curious here, excuse me, Nehemiah, because it's not this 1173, 7 and 3. And we're going to see what this Greek word is here. 7 and 3. Kaya do uk and ogoyo, and open pule, the gate in Jerusalem. Anato on the east side, Epio 2. Gregoru, here it is, but there's no number. So they got it in here. Gregorunton. All right, so that's where it is. But there's no number for it. That's why I couldn't find it there. That's the 1127. Thank you. Forgot what I was looking at here. All right, get this out of here. Where was I? Here we go. All right, and First Maccabees, and to keep a zealous watch over of men and lurking beasts, and also of Yahweh. In Jeremiah 5:6, we read that, and Lamentations 1:14. So this, if you throw it into the Old Testament, these are the verses you're going to come up with this Gregoreo and agrupneo. In a religious and ethical sense, we have agrupneo in Proverbs 8:34. That's the word shakad. We looked at that already. In the New Testament, literally to watch. So Mark 14:34. 14:34. And he said unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful unto death. Tarry ye here and watch. Gregoruo. And then Mark 13:34. Mark 13:34. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. And I looked up porter, which is another word for the door. 2377. Thoros. He keeps the doorkeeper. Okay, that's good. The door. And then Luke, what happened here? Somebody said something. We'll go back to that. All right. Luke. I know we're going a little scattered here, but stick with me here. Luke 12:37. Blessed are those servants who the Lord, when he cometh, shall find watching. Verily I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make them to sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them. So we have to watch, and we still have to watch and do the right thing, though. And then 39, and this know that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not have suffered his house to be broken through. 36:17. What's 36:17? 36:17. I got it written in my margin here. Hold on. 36:17. At the house. Okay. Yeah, I was doing doors and houses. Oiko despotes, householder, goodman of the house, master of the house. Oiko despotes. All right. Suffered his house, 36:24. That's the oikos. Goodman of the house. There it is. All right. Oiko despotes. All right. Figurative only of men to be vigilant. 1 Corinthians 16:13. Watch ye, stand fast in the faith, quit you like men, be strong, stand fast. Steko. That's what comes from histome. Quit you like men. and drizomai. One time in the Bible. Quit you like men. Be strong. Kratiuo. Be strong. Watch strong. So we got to watch. And then, especially in relation to the parousia, which is the coming. So Matthew 24, 42. 24, 42. Watch, therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord doth come. Right? 25, 13. Watch, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. We better be watching. And then Mark 13, 35 and 37. 35. Watch ye therefore, for you know not when the master, there it is. And I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. All right. And be ready. Luke 12:40. 12:40. Well, I got 12:39 here. What's 12:40? And this know that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not have suffered his house to be broken through. But ye therefore, be ye therefore ready also, for the Son of Man cometh at an hour when you think not. So watch and be ready. What's ready? Hetoimos, to be prepared. Hetoimos. That's good. Hetoimos. 1 Thessalonians 5:6. I forgot what number I was doing there. Oh, 1 Thessalonians 5:6. Therefore, let us not sleep as others do. Hopefully, we were going to get into that sleep, but we're not going to get into it tonight. Look at the time. It's after 8 already. I don't. Therefore, let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. We're going to have to get into the rest of this next week. There's still a lot of good stuff here in this. So I'm just, I don't want to go crazy, drive you guys nuts here. And these go with it. These two words here. 3364 is yakats, and 6974 is coots. All right? And then we're going to look into be sober, be vigilant, awake, keep in the prison. That's the falase and falaco. Right? And we're going to get into drunken, don't be drunken, all the different words for drunken, all the different words for revelings, wine, banquetings. And this here was part of the other reading I'll get into. And for my yoke is easy. And the balance. Oh, this is the balance stuff. We didn't get into this here tonight. Zugos, yoke, pair of balances. And the balance, look at all the stuff we got for balance here. We can't look at all of this, at least not tonight. But Mozen is balances, scales. Let me be weighed in an even balance, that God may know mine integrity. Whew. That's a good word. And then weighed, shakal, to weigh. All right. Weighed. What was this? There's a couple of verses. Weighed and the silver. This is weigh. Has to do with weighing and money. Watch ye keep them until you weigh them. Watch ye, shakad, and keep, shama, until ye weigh. So you got all three of these, shakal, them before the chief of the priests, the Levites, the chief father, the chamber. Okay, and we're going to get into all this hopefully next week, and we'll see. So we'll just take a moment here. Thank you, God. It goes so fast. I don't know. Your word is wonderful, and we thank you for letting us partake of it and get it out there and study it and learn it. And we thank you. We love you. Give you all the praise and glory and honor. In Jesus' name, amen. Got somebody chatted here. All right, let me stop recording. Thank you, God, for everything. What happened?